Certainly. Thank you, Darrell. Thank you, Darrell. Well, thank you all. Thank you all. Why don't you guys come over here a little closer in those FFA, and you get over here too. Over here. Hunter's the state vice president for the FFA, and I want to talk about that in a minute. But Mr. Corman mentioned 14 kids in Carter County, and you got to make everything has to count if you got 14 kids. And I was telling Charlie Cruz earlier today, we were talking about Wendell, well, we were talking about Wendell, but we were talking about Emory Melton. And Emory had this story that Wendell and I heard him tell, I'm surely 100 times, but it was funny every time he told it. And it was about the couple in Dallas County, in Douglas County, that were Grant Hayden's great uncle, Porter and Eva. And the story went something like this, that every night before they went to bed, they had this grandfather clock downstairs, and the last thing he would do before they went upstairs was stop the grandfather clock, because he had a watch and he could set it again in the morning, so he could see no reason why they'd let that clock wear out by just running all night. And so one night they got upstairs, got in bed, and they hear the clock ticking, and supposedly Eva says to Porter, well, Porter, maybe I should go downstairs and stop that clock. And he says, oh my God, don't do that. The wear and tear on the bed sheets would cost us more than we'd ever save on the clock. And it is a Douglas County, Carter, it is a South Central Missouri story, and nobody has been more helpful to me than Wendell has in these counties. And frankly, nobody talks to us more about things that could happen here that would create better jobs and better opportunities than Wendell does. But I'm glad to be here. You know, there's nothing better than the calves on the ground as the grass turns green, and those white calves look pretty good out there. Thank you. And I'm glad to be here with you, and I'm glad to be here with these guys, as particularly, you know, I see a lot of guys in these blue FFA coats. Not very many of them are the state vice president, but if we got the vice president here, we ought to take advantage of him being here. And you know, we have such opportunities, and the regulators and the dysfunctional federal government has really made it hard for us to not look over the horizon, just look at the horizon and see what's about to happen if we would just stop doing dumb things and start doing smart things. And these regulators, out of control, have no idea how they'd ever manage the regulation they say they'd like to have if they ever got it. But you know, world food demand is going to double in 35 or 40 years. So back to the FFA jacket and the FFA shirt. Imagine, you know, the biggest area of commerce in the world on any given day is food. If you decide to go as I'm often surrounded by people Hunter's age in these blue jackets, I say, just imagine if you actually do decide to go into any career that involves food, whether it's production agriculture, or food processing, or food marketing, or transportation, or commodity trading, or running an inland port. Just imagine if you do that, the day you retire, that sector of the world economy will be twice as big as it was the day you started. Now, you know, this is not like a buggy whip thing. This is a demographic thing that you actually can, with some certainty, project. And to imagine what's about to happen, and then begin to wrap yourself around it and realize what a good position we're at in the country, and even a better position we're at right where we live to take full advantage of that. You know, we're not too far right now from the exact center of what would be the biggest contiguous piece of agricultural ground in the world, the Mississippi River Valley. Has the best farmers and ranchers in the world, the best ag research institutions, public and private, in the world, and between the railroad, the highway, and particularly the river network that we're close to, it has the best way to get things all over the world that anybody has. And we just need to figure out how to make the most of that rather than make the least of it. It's one of those things, it's like, you know, the energy opportunities have been so good that they've created lots of jobs over the last few years in spite of everything the federal government could do. And agriculture and food will be the same way. But if you actually have a government who wants to see an economy that makes things and grows things again, a production economy, a productive economy where people trade services with each other, but that's on the top of an economy where something's actually being produced. That's a much better economy. And that economy, by the way, is always best, as you know, Mike Cunningham talks about this as a state senator in Jefferson City. That's always best for the middle of the country, close to this great workforce, close to our resources, and close to how you get things all over North America, but you also get things all over the world. It's really very exciting.